Lipton, and welcome to Leading the Break. About 14 months ago, in the midst of the 2023 WNBA Finals, I had the pleasure of speaking with Natalie Nakase, then an assistant coach with the Las Vegas Aces. Natalie discussed with me her days as a basketball player and student at UCLA from 1998 to 2003. Natalie also discussed how and why she developed such a passion for basketball and why she went into coaching. 2 months ago, Natalie was appointed the head coach of a new WNBA franchise, the Golden State Valkyries. Here is our conversation.
My love of basketball developed just from my dad. My dad had a huge passion for it, and since he had 3 young girls, no boys, he kind of really just pushed us a little bit to kind of follow in his footsteps, but not intentionally. But since he played it so much in his passion, then we kind of followed suit. Well, actually, it was my mom who said, Dad, if you're going to go play, he's like, take the girls with you. So at a young age, too, he made us take stats. Like 9, 10, 11 years old, we were taking stats. So we learned, statistically through a game when we were that young. Also being the youngest of the 3, I think by then too, he knew how to train me a little bit better than my older 2 sisters. And then it's obviously, you want to hang out with your older 2 sisters playing basketball. So it was just an all bonding moment. One played in junior college, yeah. But my oldest, she actually tore her ACL, and then she dislocated her 2 shoulders. Like, it just didn't work out for her in sports, but she tried really hard. And actually, honestly, she inspired me because she continued to play through all the injuries.
You're a star player in high school, and you're not the tallest player on the court.
By all the Cal States, and then the other top school was UCI, and they actually, offered me a starting position. But for me, the way my dad raised me, he's just like, nothing is free in life. So just even at that, when he was just like, you're going to start, I'm like, I haven't even met you. I haven't even come to a practice. Why would you offer me a starting position? So it didn't feel real. It didn't feel authentic.
Really?
So UCLA came around after when I played really well, won the CIF my senior year, and UCLA came knocking and said, would you like to walk on? And I said, is this a joke? Like, are you kidding me? I said, without a doubt. And I'm like, Dad, they're offering me. And he's like, well, let's take a visit. Kathy Olivier brought me in. Me and my dad came in, and she just said, look, she goes, I know a lot about you. She's like, but every year you're going to have to earn your position, but, earn your scholarship. But for your first year, we'll give you a scholarship, and from there you got to earn it. She's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, where do I sign? I'm like, trust me, my work ethic. I go, you're gonna fall in love with me, Kathy. UCLA was my dream school. As anyone who's growing up in Southern California, UCLA is a school to go to, especially with all of the, the championships that they won.
You wound up starting in your sophomore and junior year. You're a big-time player there.
There's so many great memories. From leaving basketball, it's just the relationships. I'm still close friends with a lot of my teammates. My best friend's Melissa Renfro, which was Melissa Moore back in the day. Michelle Greco, I still talk to all the time. It's those. Kathy Olivier, she just texted me, last week, wished me good luck.
Nice.
How do you beat having, great relationships, leaving your college years? So I think those are the best memories. My senior year, we were supposed to obviously try to make the playoffs, and we ended up losing, I think, to Cal. This is just a negative story, but we ended up losing to Cal, and then I think that really hurt us in terms of the rankings on where we stand. And so I just remember that, and it's something that I take with me, because a game that we should have won was probably the reason why we didn't make it to the tournament. And so that's where I'm like, I'm never going to take, a team that's probably underneath you for granted. Like, you're going to always come to compete. You got to always make sure you're prepared no matter what, because not making the tournament my senior year, that really hurt. We lived in the dorms my first 2 years, and then after that, me and Michelle, we ended up living together in an apartment. We had it all. We had, a beautiful campus, and then Westwood, they had these Oprah premieres, these movie premieres where we saw Brad Pitt and all these stars, Julia Roberts. Who doesn't enjoy having that right in your backyard? So we had great sports, obviously the best. Here's a memory. Pete Sampras, if you know, famous tennis player Pete Sampras. Michelle loved tennis, and so he was just shooting hoops after our practice one day because he was sitting there practicing tennis. And so we just said, hey, you want to play 2-on-2? And he was just like, yeah. So just, having the opportunity to play 2-on-2 with Pete Sampras was pretty cool. I majored in psychology. Just learning about the human behavior. I thought that was really interesting because I think right now it kind of helps me with coaching.
Okay.
It's kind of understanding, why each individual behaves a certain way, and usually it comes from their growing up, at a young age, how their parents raised you, and so that really helps me connect with each individual player. So I didn't know I was going to become a coach, and it ended up working out.
John Wooden, how much of his influence permeated the women's team when you were there? His philosophies, his thoughts. Talk about that if it did.
Oh yeah, John Wooden. I mean, that's another reason why you go to UCLA is just because of all the championships that he won and the way he was able to dominate through his years of coaching. And I don't remember exact quotes of John Wooden, and also Ann Myers was a huge impact on my career. But just always the selflessness and just always giving was pretty much his philosophy. Always putting your teammates first, always kind of doing the same routine, being really disciplined and not skipping small steps. To me, that really kind of was a huge impact on why he won. And I remember Kathy Olivia always taking little bits and pieces from that and instilling it in us. So
nice.
Every coach, I'm sure, whether it's football, tennis, volleyball, they took the John Wooden philosophy. I mean, we have it in our, on our campus, we have it, yeah.
What inspired you to go into coaching?
I honestly didn't really want to coach. Everyone said I was going to be a coach after, but I just can't step away from the game of basketball. That's my passion. I wish I would have done it a little bit later in my career. I think once I hurt my knee again, I just went straight to coaching, where I wish I would have reconstructed it again and then played. Because playing is the ultimate job. But then coaching, obviously, where you get to teach, the things that you learned. Like I said, that loss to Cal, we don't take, now in my coaching career, I don't take any team for granted. I think that's the biggest thing. And I mean, I just love what I do. I can't step away from the game of basketball.
It's hard for smaller players to make it, but you really did make it, a major program. How do you inspire other people who don't have the size to kind of, pursue that goal of being a basketball player?
I think for me, especially at a young age, because I stopped growing in 8th grade, so I stopped growing when I was 13. I always took it and flipped it as my advantage, right? So for me, my dad said, well, if you're going to be the smallest player, you got to be the smartest player. So studying my opponent, studying the team, being able to outsmart them on the court at a young age was big for me. And then obviously being in great shape. So I was always the most conditioned player on my team, because then it allowed me to play full court pressure. If I had to get under people, being quicker instead of slower. I think quickness is huge in basketball, so being able to be the quickest player. So I never really looked at it as a negative. I always flipped it and looked at it as a positive. And because I had to study so much at a young age, then that helped me with the coaching, right? So I always, in my coaching, I always watch film. I mean, if you ask anyone, I watch film, till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's just, again, I'm glad I was actually small, to be honest, because I think that's what has taught me to be resilient and to really be prepared for my coaching career.